So you're thinking about moving to Rockledge, Florida. Maybe you're moving here for work, relocating, to start a new adventure. Whatever the case be, you landed on Rockledge, Florida and want some more information on the area. Today I'm going to go over the pros and cons of living in Rockledge, Florida to help you make that decision. Rockledge, Florida is the oldest town or city in Brevard County. Really what that means is just the first city to be developed or I guess incorporated in Brevard County. It has some really great historical homes and also has brand new homes. It's located about an hour away from Orlando, 45 minutes to Orlando Airport. It's just north of Melbourne or Vieira and south of Cocoa. So today we're going to go over the pros and cons, and I'm going to start off with number one. The first pro is its location. So like I mentioned, it's located only about an hour away from Orlando, Disney, SeaWorld, all the amazing restaurants over there. The airport's about 45 minutes, so it's very convenient if whether you might be working in Orlando, just want to be closer to the beach, or you have to get to Orlando frequently. It's a great location. Also, it's located about 30 minutes to Kennedy Space Center and also 30 minutes from Patrick Space Force Base. I've helped a lot of people move to Rockledge, and I've actually helped a family that one was working at Kennedy Space Center and the other was going to work at Patrick Space Force Base. It was perfect in the middle, 30 minutes each commute, which is not bad. Either you can do Cocoa Beach or you can go down Pineda Beach through Melbourne to get there. It's just west of Merritt Island and Cocoa Beach, so it's really just an easy location to get around in the county too. Another area super close to it is Cocoa Village, which is one of my favorite areas in the county. I actually went there when I was trying to figure out where I wanted to live, and I decided I wanted to live somewhere close to Cocoa Village because they hold a lot of events. They have arts and crafts fairs, there's bars, concerts, just so much fun things happening in Cocoa Village. It's really nice, so definitely check it out when you come to visit. Con number one is that it's very residential, which might be a great thing for someone and might not be a great thing for another person. So there's lots and lots of houses. There's grocery stores, gas stations, there's a few restaurants, a lot of big chain restaurants, and a couple mom pa's or local restaurants. But for the most part, you have to go somewhere outside of Rockledge to get to a lot of dining options, shopping options, which, like I mentioned in the first pro, it's not far away. It's super close to Vieira with avenues to open air mall, super close to Merritt Island where there's another mall. So it's not far away, but if you're looking for a city or town that has a lot more happening, you're not going to necessarily find it in Rockledge, but you're going to find lots of really beautiful neighborhoods and residential homes. All right, pro number two is you can find it to be a tad bit more affordable than the surrounding areas. So it's going to be more affordable than Vieira, and it's going to be more affordable than Merritt Island. It's going to be a little bit more expensive depending on the home than Cocoa, but it is a nice alternative if you're looking to live in Vieira because it's so close. It's going to be more affordable in Rockledge. For example, I was helping a family recently that were looking for a 4 or 5 bedroom, and we were either looking at a lot smaller homes that were at the same price point. There was a new community called Harvest Landing, and they were able to get a 5-bedroom home for their budget a lot better than if they were looking at that same home in Vieira. It would have been about $700,000 instead of $450,000 in Rockledge. You could definitely find a lot more affordable homes in Rockledge. That helps a lot. Okay, con number two is that there are a lot of older homes. There's a lot of 1960s homes and actually quite a few that are 1950s. There's some early 1900s homes because, like I said, Rockledge is the first city to be incorporated in Brevard County. So it is an older city. It feels more like a town. It's very residential. Like I said, it's not that big, but it is considered a city. It's called the city of Rockledge. So just keep that in mind. So just be careful if you have a certain budget and you're looking at these homes, and a lot of them are 1960s, just know there might be a lot of updating needing with the pipes, with electrical, with the roof, with windows. Some of them might be already done, which would be great. Or if you have the money to budget for that in the future and get a good deal on it, that might also be great. But just know there are a lot of those pre-1960s homes. But there's also a lot of newer homes too. Like I mentioned, there's a brand new community that's about to close out called Harvest Landing that are 2024s. I recently sold one that was 2015. So lots of post that era as well. It's just if you're looking at a certain budget, which is usually under $300,000, you're going to be running into a lot of 1960s homes. Pro number three is Indian River Drive is absolutely probably the nicest drive there is to be had in Brevard County. It follows the river. There's some beautiful homes. They're historical. Some of them are newer. They're nice mansions over there. So I definitely recommend when you're visiting to take that drive, or maybe take a bike ride or go for a little walk, because it's absolutely beautiful. There's some beautiful oak trees with Spanish moss that line the road. So it's a gorgeous view. And of course, you see the river as well. Also off of Indian River Drive is this awesome cafe I love to go to at least once a month. It's called the Whistle Stop Cafe, and definitely go in. It definitely gives a vibe that you're in Gilmore Girls. If you watch Gilmore Girls, you'll know. But it's a really nice small town feel, and the cafe has amazing food. So definitely stop in to that cafe when you're in the area. Okay, so con number 3 is that it's not on the ocean. A lot of times, I think I had this misconception too. When you're looking at the map, you're going to see the water and you're going to think that. Some people think that's the ocean. Those are 2 rivers. That's the Indian River that Rockledge runs along. And then after Merritt Island is the Banana River. And then after Cocoa Beach is the ocean. So it's not beachside by any means. It's, like I said earlier, it's about 25 to 30 minutes from the beach, or the ocean for that matter, but it is inland. So just know if you are looking for a beach community, you're going to be wanting to look more like Cocoa Beach to Indian Harbor Beach or Cape Canaveral. It's not beachside, but it does have a beautiful view of the river along the Indian River Drive. There are some benefits to being inland. So pro number 5 of being inland is that insurance is going to be a lot easier to acquire, a little bit less than if you were going to be on the barrier island, those cities like Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, and etc. So even those 1960s homes can get insurance, but it can be a little bit more expensive if certain things are not done. For example, I sold one recently that was 2015. I thought the insurance might be a little bit higher because it didn't have coverings on the windows. Coverings, it means protection that you should put up when there's a hurricane. And the insurance page was still, I want to say, about $2,400, which is very affordable for Florida. So you can get away with a lot more of what they call the deductions or the discounts on your insurance bill. Newer roof, updated piping, window coverings. You can get away with a lot of those when you are inland. So that is a perk of being inland, is that the insurance is definitely a lot more affordable. Okay, con number 4 is that you can short-term rent out in Rockledge. And I guess this depends on what you're looking to do in Rockledge. But for the most part, if you're coming to live here full-time, a lot of people don't like that. They might be living next to a short-term rental. And, some people might like that because then when they move on to a different, maybe you're relocating for the military and you purchase homes to rent out later on, could be a pro or could be a con if you're not trying to live next to a short-term rental. Now, with that said, short-term rentals allowed in the city of Rockledge. So there are some parts of Rockledge that are in unincorporated Brevard, and that would be a 90-day minimum. If you are watching this and looking to find something that you could potentially short-term rent out in the future, or now for that matter, you want to make sure it's in the city of Rockledge. And also anything in an HOA, I would just stay clear from. You're pretty safe in an HOA because those HOAs, if there isn't a rule already, they can always make a rule. But for most part, they already have a rule on rental restrictions, and they're usually either 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year minimum. Just know it is allowed, certain conditions. It is either going to be a con or a pro. Even in the areas they are allowed, it's more residential and primary. I find that people live in Rockledge are using them as their primary homes for the most part. You will still not have a crazy transient town like Cocoa Beach, which is a tourist town, but it is allowed. All right, pro number 5 is there's a lot of recreational activities that you can do in Rockledge. There's McLarty Park, which is a huge park, fields, so much things to do at the park. You're super close to Vieira, which also has a ton of parks, walking trails, and golf courses. There's also the Rockledge Country Club. So if you like to golf, there's quite a few options in the general area for you to go ahead and golf. You're along the river, so if you're a boater, you can find some marinas or even purchase a home that's on the river and have your boat in your front yard. It's Florida, so we have wonderful weather year round, even though I feel like today it's cold. It's about 68 degrees today. It's November. It's usually about the coldest it gets here, but for the most part, generally year round. It's warm and you can do those outdoor activities whenever you want. That's the amazing thing of living in Florida. All right, real quick before we get to the next one, if you're new here, my name is Rachel Langley. I'm a real estate agent here in Rockledge and in the Space Coast area. I help families just like you every day move to the area. So if you're thinking about moving here or already have the plans to relocate, make sure you reach out. You can call me or text me or email me. My information is on the screen, weekday or weekend, because I got your back when it comes to moving to the Space Coast. All right, so con number 5 is that it is Florida. I like to wrap these all in one. This is in general for Florida. You're gonna run into these 3 things, which are hurricanes, bugs, and the heat. Hurricanes. So luckily in our area, we haven't really been hit as hard as other areas in Florida. The hurricanes usually come in through the West Coast, and by the time they reach us, they're downgraded to a tropical storm or Cat 1 or Cat 2, which is a lot less severe than Cat 3 and above. So we've been very lucky, but it is Florida. So you never know. I highly recommend, even if you're in Rockledge, get flood insurance. Our home is not in a flood zone. Most of Rockledge is not in a flood zone as well. There are a few areas, but most of it isn't. But when it's not too, especially, it's a lot cheaper to just get flood insurance. So we spend about $750 a year on our flood insurance. I think it's worth it. It's peace of mind for me, especially when we do get hurricane scares, or even we had one this year. So it's worth it. So just keep that in mind, maybe budget for it, but it's definitely 100% worth it. But for the most part, most of the damage that we see are older fences going down, maybe a couple of roofs get a little bit of damage, but for the most part, besides losing power for a couple of days, it is usually pretty minor here. All right, the other aspect is the bugs. When you first move in, you're gonna wanna get it sprayed. You're gonna wanna hire a pest control company to come every few months after that and do the outside. If you buy new construction, they actually build these little tubes that go into the wall that also do really well for the pest control, but we do get roaches. They call them palmetto bugs here, but they are roaches. And if you don't spray your house, no matter how clean you keep your house, you will get the roaches. So you wanna have pest control. It's safe for the dogs. So you want to do that. We also, even though the homes are built with concrete, we are a very wet climate, especially in the summer when it's raining so much, which termites really like. The inside of your walls are going to be made with wood, so you want to protect them. So you might want to get a termite treatment on your home because it helps prevent any of those issues that might come in the future. And then the third thing is the heat. Yes, it gets super, super hot in the summer here. Some people cannot stand it. I love it. I don't mind it. When I'm hot, I go to my pool. You can go to a community pool, you can go to the beach. But yes, it gets super hot. But for me, I grew up in the Northeast. I can't stand snow, and I actually don't even like to visit there in the wintertime because I can't stand the cold. But yes, it gets super hot. And if you're someone who does not like the heat, then this might not be the best place to move to because of that. All right, pro number 6 is going to be that you're going to experience Space Coast living. So you're gonna be pretty close to Merritt Island, where they launched in Merritt Island and Cape Canaveral. And actually it's in Merritt Island, but it's over closer to Titusville. And so you're gonna be a part of the watching launches. So when I first moved here, they went off maybe every 2 months. Now they're going off every week almost. You're gonna experience it. It feels like it's equivalent to an airplane sound, or like when your air conditioner kicks on. Sometimes you can't tell whether it's your air conditioner or a launch just went up, but it's super cool, especially when you have young kiddos. They absolutely think it's the coolest thing ever, watching the launches go up. The best view is gonna be from the beach, maybe, or the river. Titusville has some amazing views because it goes up right in front of you there. But nonetheless, you're also going to see them from your front or backyard, depending on how your house faces. And it's just absolutely spectacular, especially when we have some big rockets go up. Artemis a couple of years ago was really cool. So it's just awesome being a part of it. And then of course, there's always events going on at Kennedy Space Center, which is also really great to be a part of as well. Okay, con number 6 is that there are train tracks that run through Rockledge, and we do have the Brightline train now. So a great thing is that they are going to be adding a stop in the next few years in Cocoa. So it's going to be help getting to South Florida, Orlando, even Tampa eventually. Really easy and quickly, but you also have to listen to the train. So it does run a few times a day, And you want to avoid being close to where they cross intersections because it's not necessarily loud on the tracks. Because oh gosh, don't quote me, but they use magnetics, or it's not as loud as your regular freight train. But when they beep their horn for the intersections, that's when it's loud. Some people don't mind it. And if you have impact windows in your home, you can't really hear it. But if you are noise sensitive, you definitely want to avoid those intersections because it can get pretty loud at different times of the day. All right, that's all I have for you today on living in Rockledge, Florida, all the pros and cons. I helped quite a few families this year move to the area and I absolutely love it. Such a convenient spot, so much stuff to do, whether it's in Rockledge or surrounding areas. So if you're thinking about moving to the area, whether it be Rockledge or anywhere in the Space Coast or Brevard County for that matter, make sure you reach out. My information is on the screen right here. You can reach out AM, PM, weekday, weekend. We'll get back to you as soon as possible because we got your back when it comes to moving to the Space Coast. And while I have you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. That way YouTube knows that you like this content and it will send you new videos as they come out from me. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Rachel Langley and I'll see you on the next one.